Welcome back to the program. One thing I love about President Trump's administration in this White House is they fight back. They fight back and they do it immediately. It is a rapid response, okay? And the latest thing that they're doing to fight back is on this big, beautiful ballroom. Why is this such an issue? Why is this such a problem? Well, I think you can look at it a couple different ways. Democrats probably wanted to do this many administrations ago, but never did it because they couldn't raise the funds for it or whatever it was, okay? And instead, they did basketball courts, they did bowling alleys, they did other things. Actually, the bowling alley was Nixon. But they've done other things, but they never did anything as bold, brash, and beautiful as President Trump. And just look at what the White House looks like. If you've ever seen images inside his suite where he lives in Mar-a-Lago and in Trump Towers, it's all gold everywhere. Gold chairs, tables, gold mirrors, I mean statues. It's just who he is. He is boisterous. He is flamboyant in a lot of ways. And he's taken that. He's a builder. He's got an eye for design and things like that throughout his entire life and career. And he's taken that and he's brought it into the White House. Now, in his first term, technically his third term now, but his first term, he didn't do as much of that. He did a little of it, but not like he's done, okay? He's put in these giant American flags. He's put gold all over. He stops his own meetings with his cabinet meetings to say, what do you think about that? Do you like the gold over here? And now he's talking about his ballroom, and he's like, we need a foyer and an entrance thing that looks like this. I mean, it's just who he is. He's a builder. They're jealous. That's what this is really all about. They're jealous. How dare he make the White House beautiful when all we did was steal the furniture and the silverware, right? Clinton's and many others. And so that's really the gist of this. But it's all fake outrage. We know that, right? Because the White House is now not only reminding everybody of all of these different renovations throughout history, which I'm going to get to, but more importantly, they're using it as a way to attack the sinister things that have also happened at the White House under Democrats. Check this out. Our first president, George Washington, selected the site for the White House in 1791. The following year, the cornerstone was laid and a design was submitted by Irish-born architect James Hoban. After 8 years of construction, President John Adams and his wife Abigail moved into the still unfinished residence. Isn't that nice? George Washington, the founder of our country, never even had a chance to even stay in the White House, but still built the White House for future presidents. Almost like the ballroom, right? Which is probably going to be done in, I don't know, maybe a year, 2 years, whatever it's going to be, right? He's not going to be there for a third term, folks. He's just using that as a troll. But he's building it for future presidents. J.D. Vance, we hope, right? Next, rebuilding after the War of 1812. Let's not forget that they attacked the White House. They lit the White House on fire, okay? During the War of 1812, British forces burned the White House in August of 1814. Architect James Hoban led its reconstruction. So the person who built the White House to begin with then reconstructed the White House as well, restoring all of the original design with some minor enhancements for durability and security. President James Monroe then moved in by 1817. The addition of the South Portico. In 1817, President James Monroe took residence in the newly reconstructed White House following its destruction by British forces in 1814. During his administration, the iconic South Portico was completed by 1824. This was designed again by architect James Hoban to enhance the building's aesthetic and provide a grand entrance facing the Potomac River. Next, addition. 1829, Andrew Jackson oversaw the addition of the North Portico. In 1902, President Theodore Roosevelt built the West Wing. replacing 19th century greenhouses, and added a colonial garden in East Terrace, later part of the East Wing. 1909, President William Howard Taft remodeled and expanded the West Wing, which included construction of the first Oval Office. In 1913, under President Woodrow Wilson's administration, First Lady Ellen Wilson oversaw the transformation of the colonial garden into the modern Rose Garden, creating a more formalized and elegant outdoor space. Franklin Delano Roosevelt expanded the West Wing in 1934, adding a second floor, a basement, a swimming pool, and relocating the Oval Office. In 1942, he constructed the East Wing for additional staff and wartime security, including the White House's first bomb shelter. In 1948, President Harry Truman undertook a total reconstruction of the White House's interior, expanding its foundation and its footprint. Preserving only its exterior walls, the Truman balcony provided the first family with a private outdoor space and enhanced the building's aesthetics. 1970, the addition of the briefing room. President Nixon converted the swimming pool into the press briefing room and added a bowling alley in the basement. Bill Clinton. Now it's interesting because now they're talking not necessarily about aesthetics and architectural design and things that were added, and now we're getting into the attack mode. The attack mode starts right now. Bill Clinton. President Bill Clinton had an affair with intern Monica Blue Klinsky, let's call her what she really was, and that was exposed, leading to the White House perjury investigations, the Oval Office trysts fueled impeachment for obstruction. 2012, the Muslim Brotherhood visited the White House. That's right. Obama hosts members of the Muslim Brotherhood, a group that promotes Islamic extremism and has ties to Hamas. The Muslim Brotherhood is a designated terrorist organization by nearly a dozen nations. 2020, a tennis pavilion. In 2020, First Lady Melania Trump oversaw the privately funded construction of a 1,200 square foot tennis pavilion on the South Lawn, featuring a neoclassical design with a copper roof and limestone cladding. The elegant structure unifies the tennis courts, children's garden, and kitchen garden, enhancing recreational opportunities for the first family. 2023, Hunter Crackhead Biden. That's right, cocaine discovered in the White House. During the Otto Penn administration, a U.S. Secret Service agent discovered a small zippered plastic bag containing cocaine in the West Wing in the entrance lobby. Speculation has pointed to Hunter Biden, an admitted drug user and cocaine freak. Additional evidence includes a laptop seized in 2019, which contains photos of frequent drug use alongside emails about foreign business dealings, Ukraine, China, and others involving his father, Joe, while he was vice president. 2023, during the Otto Penn administration, during the stolen election time of Joe Biden, the Biden-Harris administration hosts transsexuals at the White House in 2023 and goes on to establish the, quote, Transgender Day of Visibility on the same day as Easter Sunday in 2024. That's how much they care about Christianity. 2025, North and South flagpoles. In June of 2025, President Donald Trump personally funded the installation of two 88-foot tall flagpoles on the north and south lawns of the White House, a project that he describes as a personal gift to the nation. The flagpoles, designed to display large American flags, enhance the patriotic atmosphere of the White House grounds. A ceremonial flag-raising event on June 18th marked their completion, with President Trump saluting as the Stars and Stripes were hoisted, all privately funded at no cost to taxpayers. And lastly, two more. Rose Garden renovations. In August of 2025, President Trump completed a $2 million Rose Garden renovation. funding through the generosity of private citizens, replacing the lawn with beautiful limestone tiles inspired by Mar-a-Lago. Just like I said, it's Mar-a-Lago in D.C. The design enhances event functionality by preventing soggy grounds and preserves historic rose bushes. President Trump hosted the inaugural Rose Garden Club dinner for Republican lawmakers, and the renovated space continues to serve as a venue for different events. Oval Office renovations. In March of 2025, President Donald Trump initiated a privately funded renovation of the Oval Office, incorporating gold figures and filigree, historic portraits, and custom carvings inspired by his Mar-a-Lago estate. Completed by August of 2025, the updates enhanced the room's aesthetic pleasing with elegant gold accented decor, creating a refined setting for high-level meetings and showcasing America as the greatest nation in history. And here it is. East Wing renovations. The East Wing renovation started in September of 2025 will add a 90,000 square foot ballroom for 1,000 guests, enhancing state visit capabilities, funding once again through the generosity of private citizens, corporations, and donors, including President Trump himself. The $250 million project includes modernized offices and bulletproof glass, upgrading the historic 1902 structure while preserving the main residence. So my question is, were Democrats freaking out when all these other presidents were doing these renovations and things like that? No, there was nothing. There was nothing in the press. It's just because it's President Trump. And it goes to show you the hypocrisy of the left. And I think millions of Americans are seeing that. They're trying to paint this as during a shutdown, all President Trump cares about is redoing the Oval Office and making his ballroom, right? They even cut a Caroline Leavitt quote, and they cut out and edited it to make it sound like, and then they ran headlines in the Washington Post and elsewhere that said, Caroline Leavitt says President Trump's only focus is on his ballroom. Like he doesn't care about the shutdown. He doesn't care about the American people. It's absolute bullshit, okay? And so, that's why I'm glad that they laid this out, number one. And number two, even more importantly, they needled them. They attacked them during the entire thing. They pointed out how Democrats treated the people's house, as they like to say, right? Oh, it's our house? It's the people's house? Yes, it is the people's house. And that's why you're getting blowjobs in the Oval Office, or the Oral Office, I guess we could call it. That's why you're having your son, your derelict cocaine, sex-abusing, prostitute-loving, weirdo freak of a son doing cocaine in the White House. Then you have the Clintons stealing furniture, stealing keys off of the keyboards. I mean, every silverware, everything, fine china. Democrats destroy, Republicans preserve. Okay? It's as simple as that. And once this thing is done and beautiful, President Trump likely won't even be in the White House to enjoy it. Maybe he'll get a year and a half out of it. Who knows, depending on how long it takes to build. But hopefully J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, or whoever else he might pick, will be in 2028, and they can enjoy the fruits of President Trump's generous labor. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.